Welcome back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Today on the channel, we're going to be talking about a movie that I have always loved. This is actually probably one of my favorite character studies slash dramas slash comedies. It's kind of a mix of all three. And this movie has, I think, some of the best performances ever. It won 4 Academy Awards, and in my opinion, it deserved all of them. And that is Rain Man, starring Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. I kind of hinted at this in my previous video. I picked this up actually a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't get a chance to review it because there were so many other films that came out in the meantime that I, picked up and I checked out, and I wanted to review those. But now that Tom Cruise is kind of back in theaters again with the latest Mission Impossible, I wanted to look back at this because I think this is one of his most understated, and honestly, I think it's one of his best performances. His character in this movie is phenomenal. His acting in this is incredible, and I think this is really one of his first movies that showed that he could be a seriously considered actor, that he wasn't just this guy that played the same character over and over again, even though he kind of does that still. He is, I do consider him to be a very, very good actor. And this to me is like his number 2 performance. Number 1 to me is still Collateral. But I think this movie here, he gives a very touching and believable performance, and also a pretty funny one too. He does have some pretty good comedic moments in this, but Dustin Hoffman really steals the show in this film, and he definitely deserved the Oscar for this. His portrayal of Raymond is just, it's awe-inspiring how incredible he is in this film. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons why Tom Cruise kind of got sidelined a little for his performance, just because Dustin Hoffman is such a showcase in this movie that he kind of overshadows Tom. But again, this movie here, deals with some topics that today I don't know if this movie would be made. The portrayal of autism in this film is obviously not very accurate, and I'm sure there are people out there like the character that Dustin Hoffman portrays, but it's very rare, and it's really not the norm in any way, shape, or form. But it is still an extremely entertaining film that I love and adore, and I'm so glad that this finally got a 4K release here. This is from MVD Marquee, and they release a lot of different films, but this is actually, I think, one of the first films that I've gotten from them. So this is an all-new 4K restoration that was done this year. So it is brand new. It was a 16-bit scan from the original camera negative and was actually approved by director Barry Levinson. And today we're going to be reviewing the picture quality, the audio quality, the special features, and just really seeing, how this new transfer fared. So let's jump right into it here with the picture quality. The new 4K scan of this film is really, really great. I thought the colors on this were very, very fitting of the film. They're not eye-popping by any means. This movie does not have an extremely vivid color palette. It's a very natural tone. They didn't overdo it with the HDR on this. It definitely expands the color palette a little bit. Some colors are a little bit more pronounced and just slightly more vivid than they were before. Oranges, reds are much more balanced, I would say now. Skin tones look really good and extremely accurate. The brighter scenes, the daytime scenes, are now a lot brighter than they were before, but the overall picture is a very natural, filmic kind of look, and I really like that. It really, really works for this film. There are a lot of greens and browns in this film as well. Again, very beautiful looking. It's an exquisitely shot film, and this new transfer just enhances that. It's not mind-blowing by any means, but this film, again, is not meant to be that kind of eye-popping film. It does really, really look good, and the detail level now on this is extraordinary. Bernie Pollack was the costume designer for this film, and I've always loved his costume design. He can make anybody look like $1 million, and my dream is to someday hire him to do my ensembles, because I mean, again, he can put a guy in jeans and a t-shirt and they just look good, you know. But detail level on clothing, hair, the car that they drive in this film, everything is just so much more detailed than it was before. It really is an extreme bump up in detail level. That 4K picture quality now just is so extraordinary that you're picking up on things that I had never noticed before. Very, very good job with the bump in detail level on this. The only complaint that I really have with this disc is the black levels are not quite up to snuff. Shadow detail and stuff, in certain scenes, it's not great, especially the really darker scenes. There's a couple nighttime scenes that just don't have the black levels that maybe they could have had. Again, I don't know if that's a source issue or not, but for the most part, they're okay, but they're not great. They're good, I would say. They're good, not great. But overall, again, the Dolby Vision on this is extraordinary. Like I said, they did a great job with enhancing the color palette, but not making it so they ruin the kind of look and feel of the film. It's a very natural color palette this film has, and they kept it at that, with just extending it just a little bit, which I thought was a very good way of handling the transfer on this. Again, detail level is extraordinary. It's a huge bump up in every way from the older Blu-ray that came out quite a few years ago. This is a great transfer on this disc. Is it the best I've ever seen? No, it's very well done, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very enjoyable watch, and it's definitely the best that this movie has ever looked. Very, very good job there. There is also a 5.1. It's a DTS HD master audio on this. As far as I could see, this is pretty much the same audio mix that the older Blu-ray had. I did not notice anything new and spectacular. I will say, though, it did sound very good. The music on it was great. The score by Hans Zimmer in this movie, and yeah, Hans Zimmer did the score to this. This was kind of one of the first movies that put him on the map. And his score in this is very unorthodox, but I think it's beautiful. And it really didn't sound like anything else at the time when it came out. It was a very different score, and it still holds up to this day. Sounds beautiful with that 5.1. This movie is really heavily based on dialogue, and the dialogue sounded great. There's some more sound effects used in the Vegas sequence. It was fine. Again, I didn't have any issues with it. Everything was placed very well. This is definitely not a movie that could have used like a Dolby Atmos or a DTS-X. It would be nice to have it, but it really doesn't need it. The 5.1 that comes with this is great and really didn't have any problems at all. I didn't detect any issues with it. I didn't have to turn up the volume 10 times. It was fine. It was totally fine. It sounds great. Just know that it's pretty much the same mix that we've had for the last 15 years or so, maybe longer than that. So just keep that in mind. It's really nothing new there with the audio mix. 4K does have, it looks like a couple, 3 different audio commentaries. One by director Barry Levinson, the other by writer Barry Morrow, and a third one by the other writer, Ronald Bass. So there's 3 different commentaries on the 4K, and the 4K also includes a theatrical trailer. Now, the movie is also restored on the Blu-ray as well on here. It is the new it is a new HD transfer, and that one there again doesn't have the Dolby Vision grading or anything like that, but it is an upgraded transfer. So whether you buy this for the 4K or the Blu-ray, you are getting a new transfer, which is really, really nice. The standard Blu-ray disc does have all the same audio commentaries. It has a making of documentary called The Journey of Rain Man, kind of a slightly longer featurette. There is a featurette about autism itself, which I think was really well done. And there is actually one deleted scene and a theatrical trailer on the standard Blu-ray as well. So this to me is just a great movie, and this 4K just makes it even better. I really, really like this 4K disc here. It's definitely worth a pickup. Is it the best transfer I've ever seen? No, but for this film, it is a spectacular transfer, and I'm glad to see this movie finally getting that respect that it deserves. It's a great release. I highly recommend it, and I'm going to put it in the a link in the description below so you can pick it up on Amazon if you so shall please. If you do use that link, I do get a kickback here on the channel. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, definitely make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to really grow this channel now. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. It's crazy. But we're starting to kind of pick up some speed here. So share these videos with your friends if they're into this kind of thing. Physical media is a love of mine, and it's a labor of love to make these videos for you guys so you can stay informed on what to pick up. But this is definitely a winner for me. Until next time, I want to say thank you to everyone for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Please stay safe and take it easy.